No, we'll start again. Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome
we
back.
are going to film an episode today on our underrated films, actors, and performances.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
With a touch of overrated. However,
Yeah, with a touch. I've got a couple of films.
I've got one film.
I've got two.
Haven't got performances.
I haven't got performances. We kind of thought that we'd just sort of do like a films and performances that we think are maybe underrated and overrated, but not like a specific number of each. Just kind of like round off ideas and bits and bobs. And this is going to be a bit more of like a fun, little chatty, little back and forth.
Why don't you start?
I'm excited. Okay.
Are we starting with films?
Should we start with overrated? Just because, like, should we get the negative vibes out of the way?
Yeah, get the negative vibes out of the way.
Get the negative vibes out of the way. Oh, a bit mean, this one. It's not really.
Okay.
She's one of your... Do you know what I love? I love her. She's one of my faves. She's an incredible director. But Sophia Coppola, Lost in Translation. I feel like it appeals to a certain demographic of people very, very intensely. And it's a film very kind of preoccupied with, I don't know, forlorn potential, like nostalgia. I just thought it was a bit flat. Thought it was a bit boring.
It's not one of my favourites by her.
No, it's not me. No. Bit boring. I did think it were very self-indulgent. Like, do you like these two characters kind of bonded by the fact that they just feel unfulfilled and that where they are in their lives? But it tried to convince you that they're like really, really stuck. And I just was like, you're not stuck. You want to know what stuck is. I don't know. I feel like my cynicism just came into play a little bit. I think it looks amazing, but I don't feel like they utilise the setting of Japan as much.
Okay,
and I think it's just very sort of like, I don't know, there's a bit of a flatness to it. And I do get there's a level of emotionality which is compelling, but not enough for me to kind of want to like, or to at least be really invested in it. So I don't know. That's one.
I know, I do understand that to an extent, yeah. I as I say, it's not one of my favourite from hers.
And she won a Best Original Screenplay for it as well.
Yeah. There was probably better contenders in that category. Well, that's my irk with my overrated film is Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm the biggest hater of this film. I'll put it out there.
It's like the one I've never known you to like not like a film really, like, or to have strong opinions about films, but like that you don't like.
I've never had a strong dislike for any films really. Yeah. I kind of understand, even if they're not to my taste, I kind of understand like, you know, how people would like them. But for me, this one, I don't know. I've never met anyone really who like genuinely really loved it. I mean, let us know if you did.
Is it one of them films that kind of you think that is going to really, it really kicked off in terms of awards and stuff like that, but it actually, will it stand the test of time? No. Because when you think of how many Best Picture winners have like stood the test of time versus not, I would argue it's maybe a somewhat of an even ratio, to be honest.
I agree. Well, one of my underrated won Best Picture.
Yes. No, literally, someone, because like,
well, your favourite spotlight, one of your favourite spotlights.
Yeah, because underrated, because within the realm of like awards and stuff, it doesn't really correlate to like commercial like popularity and things.
Realistically, like the more decorated the film, it doesn't make the film better. It just means that it kind of was released at the right place at the right time, and it gained the right type of traction.
With the right people behind it, the right budget.
I just think in the year, so this won, obviously, Best Picture, won Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress as well.
It swept.
And it really did sweep. And it probably, I think it won Screenplay as well, I'm not too sure. But in the year where the film Tar and the film All Quiet on the Western Front was nominated, I mean, to be honest, in this category, it wasn't a super, super, super strong category to begin with. However, once I saw this and then I saw All Quiet on the Western Front, I was thinking, okay, so what's so special about Everything Everywhere All at Once? I probably do need to watch it again. Now I'm a bit older. Now I probably have a little bit more of a...
Watch it with me. That's what I have to watch it. That's my film night.
Now that I have a bit more of a perspective and a bit more probably like understanding on genres of film. However, I've said this every single year when I talk about it. Like, I just think... not one bit of me wants to rewatch it. I just think I didn't understand it. Yeah, okay, probably. I understood the underlying message. However, I just kind of thought, what's so special about this film? As I say, when I've spoken to other people about it who did enjoy it, they just kind of was like, oh, I liked it because it was just so mad. But I was like, well...
Is there a purpose to that madness?
Yeah, exactly. And there probably is. Like, maybe when I watched it again, I wouldn't hate it as much as I do, but... I don't know, that year for awards especially was just very underwhelming for me. I was watching the Oscars just with not filled with much excitement.
I wasn't really like gripped.
That one didn't do it for me. And normally I really enjoy awards season because it makes me watch films that I would never normally watch. However, I came out of this film, I would never ever ever walk out of a film in a cinema, never. It's just a rule that I have because I just think it could get better. However, I was this close. I was this close. Yeah.
People walked out of my Damn My Love screening and
really?
it weren't that bad. No, I actually no, it weren't bad. I actually enjoyed many facets of it. Yeah, people did walk out of my Damn My Love screen. And was it as good as perhaps I think maybe people were making it out?
To be fair, I think it's died down now, the traction for Die My Love. I think the more films that have come out
not
in
as
this
good as we need to talk about Kevin. It's not.
No.
It's not. Just isn't. It's not as gripping. It's quite sinister in many aspects to it that I'm like, really, really good. Performance is great and stuff, but the pace of it and the length of it did not need to be as long as what it was.
How long was it?
Over 2 hours. Over 2 hours. I think it was nearly 2.5.
Bloody hell.
But it was full of too much symbolism for me to actually
kind of...
Everything meant something. Nothing was, it works.
You could just take it on face value.
Yeah. It works in the context of something that's so incredibly detailed. I just think there was too many, like, I don't know. It just was a bit like...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. But that wasn't one of my overrateds, but like, it's a good film.
Yeah.
I don't think it's overrated enough to the point where I would put it in the list. I've got one, very, very quickly to mention it. Have you seen, this is my overrated, the second one. Have you seen Adaptation with Nicolas Cage and Meryl Streep?
No.
It is the most, it's like Charlie Kaufman wrote like this film about himself from, if I'm guessing that right, it's literally Charlie Kaufman is like, it's basically about a man played by Nicolas Cage who was called Charlie Kaufman, who can't write, and who's a screenwriter who can't write. He's struggling creatively to get all them creative juices flowing and adapt a book that he's been hired to adapt. And it's just really, this is someone who has a keen interest in screenwriting. I found it incredibly pretentious. There's also an element of his character having like a fake doppelganger and like a sort of like a shadow version of himself taunting him and being like, oh, I'm a great writer. And I just thought it was a really pointless and a bit like silly. And I don't think it really properly depicted or like accurately and compellingly depicted the struggles of a writer. I don't know, there was a frivolousness to it really.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but
no.
And there's a really random side plot.
But you're not recommending it, but
no.
Yeah.
There's a side plot with Meryl Streep and a fella, and I'm just like...
And a
fella. And I'm just like, wasn't invested. Anyway, should we go into underrated?
These aren't in any particular order either. One for me is Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, right, okay. I can see why you've put that.
Yeah, it did win an Oscar for adapted screenplay in 2020. It's directed by Taika Waititi, and it's built on a premise that shouldn't work on paper, yet I really think it completely does work.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched all of the films this year that were up for Oscars, and I was kind of going into this like, oh, like I'm not massively mad about this. I kind of said to my mum like, oh, it might be good, it might not, I don't really know. I came out of it and I was like, I was so pleasantly surprised. I think it's so emotionally rich and I think it's very carefully balanced. I think Taika Waititi has perfectly blended humour and tragedy in a way that feels very natural rather than jarring, like it's kind of being shoved down your throat. Yeah. I think it's very tonally complex and
it is.
I think it's almost deliberately hard to categorise. So I think it refuses
do you reckon
to
that's why it's like underrated? Because people don't know what box. Oh,
exactly.
Well, what is that?
It refuses to sit comfortably in one genre.
Yeah.
So I think I was really happy to see this win adapted screenplay. I kind of knew it wouldn't win picture. Roman Griffin Davis, who is the lead in this, delivers a very unforgettable performance. I think it very much anchors the film emotionally. How he has not done more after this.
I know.
I think he has, but not to as big a scale as this. Yeah. I think it's visually very vibrant with bright colours that I think reflect Jojo's childlike, how he sees the world. I think the visual innocence really contrasts the film's darker moments. Yeah, because it is a dark subject. And
I just watch that, but it's good.
Yeah, I think it just overall holds a lot of hope, innocence, sadness, and humour all at once. And I think that's very hard to do without diminishing any of them. And he really does. Yeah. I think the main reason why it's very underrated, is the fact that it's often misunderstood. I think because of its genre-defying nature. But yeah, I just think it's a very special film.
I agree. I really
think
do.
You should really watch it. Like, don't knock it before you watch. And I think you kind of got to go into it with an open mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's because it was circulated within the awards realm, and I don't know. But then again, it's like, do they stand the test of time? To be honest, 3 out of 4 of my underrated films all circulated. My first underrated, should we say, All of Us Strangers.
Yes.
All of Us Strangers, I think, is underrated. And I think
really like
because
that
it came out the same year that did Paul Mescal do Gladiator the same year or something? I don't know.
He was on a bit of a campaign trail, wasn't he?
Campaign trail or something like that. I just think it was so emotionally like fraught and dense. It really hit close to home. Like I like the fact that it did the whole struggling writer thing in a very non sort of like forceful and non-pretentious way, and the fact that it was all kind of backed up, and the context of it all was the most richest part of the film as to why he was in such a sort of like emotionally fraught and like damaged place. I thought Andrew Scott was amazing in it. I love him in it. He's so like, he's one of them actors that is just so naturalistic.
He is. He's one of the best actors.
He's so incredible
in the UK. Yeah.
And I just, what do you call it? You know that scene in, obviously like everyone knows this scene, not Love Actually, but Emma Thompson's crying. The emotion, like the rich sort of like emotionality of that, so much to the point where it feels real. I feel like he infuses that same essence. I don't know why I've gone for that particular scene as an example, but comparing it to Andrew Scott in All of Us Strangers, I feel like he infuses it in every single facet of like his performance.
Well, there was uproar when he didn't get nominated for a BAFTA, wasn't there?
Literally,
how did he not get nominated for a BAFTA?
He got nominated for a Golden Globe, I think. But I think it really is. It's an incredible meditation on loss and love, and the fact that our grief never really leaves us, and the fact that his character is going through like in those moments where he's going back to his family home and he's seen his parents. That could easily not work. That could easily be seen as quite, you know, frivolous and a bit like sort of maybe even just, you know, not working. I think, you know, on paper.
Yeah, maybe a bit far-fetched in the sense that,
I agree. But I think the way in which it was depicted and the fact that his character is, you know, experiencing such a sort of, you know, angst and catharsis at that whole experience at the same time. The fact that he's getting reassurance from his parents who never really got to know that version of him as he's growing older.
Because he's a shell of a person in front of them, isn't he, really? In like those scenes where they're sat opposite each other in that booth.
I know. It's literally, oh my God, that booth in the cafe was at the end. That's the best scene in the film for me. Yeah. Cry my eyes out.
I thought he was fab.
I thought it was so emotionally rich when he's like saying goodbye to them. And it's like that kind of, that clarification that you'd want when you lose a parent of like, what do you think of me in this version of myself that you didn't get to see? Like all those different, you know, like his parents weren't there for like so much of his life. They died when he was so young. And the fact that he gets to kind of have that moment of like, you know, seeing them again is so, and the way it's done is so like so cathartic and so wholesome. You really put yourself in his shoes. And then the ending, I thought it was great. I thought the way in which they interwove Paul Mescal's character into it was really like done very delicately and just really intense, but really
it's a very
poignant.
Heavy film. I remember coming out of it thinking I was very like emotionally drained, even though I hadn't cried. It didn't make me cry in the cinema. I was just more kind of like, oh, good God, yeah, like, that was deep. That was heavy.
It's a deep film, but I like deep films, and I like the fact that I just liked everything about it. I just thought, what he did with that was great. And I think it's underrated. I think it should have got more love.
And my next one is Coda.
Oh, 100% agree.
This won Best Picture in 2022, which I was so pleasantly surprised by. I really did not think that this was going to win Best Picture. No. And I was so happy it did. I think it's deceptively simple, yet so deeply affecting. I think it really proves that emotional power doesn't require a big grandiose spectacle. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's a very like simple setting, isn't it?
It's such a simple setting, and sometimes I do love it when films just strip it back to basics. Yeah. And this film really did that for me.
It didn't look designed.
No, exactly. Yeah. It was just a simple, natural, true to life story that I think everyone could relate to in some way or another. Yeah. In terms of emotions, in terms of family dynamic. I think it's very sincere, which I found very refreshing. It was
so
very
relatable,
good at,
but not at the same time. Yeah.
It was very good at delivering emotion without excess. Again, like going back, it was just very naturalistic. I think it's very warm, wholesome, and I think anyone who watches it can relate. And I think that is becoming more increasingly rare in cinema. So the fact that this got the awards circuit, Troy Kotsur, who won Best Supporting Actor, I was really happy to see him win. It was I did know he was going to win because he was pretty much a front runner all throughout awards season. It was him and Ariana DeBose that kind of swept that year. Yeah. But I just think the performances felt very effortless and natural. Sian Heder, who directed it, she never put any characters in the spotlight to draw attention to themselves.
Best director.
No, I don't think so.
Why I thought that was in my head. No, I think she won best screenplay.
I think she won screenplay. Yeah. I just think the whole setting and surrounded landscape was really subtly mirror the film's emotional themes as well. Yeah. And I just think
it just exists, doesn't it? It's
exactly. At its core, it's very tender and life affirming, and I think
Great film.
I finished that film just thinking that was just a lovely, nice, watchable film. Like when anyone ever asks me for a recommendation for a film, I'll always mention Coda, because I'm just kind of like, you don't have to think too much when you're watching it. It's just an easy watch, and yeah, it's a great watch as well.
So many relatable elements to it as well. Exactly. It's just so rooted in like
the
human experience, but also something that like a lot of people can't relate to, but like elements of it you can. I really liked it.
No, it's really nice film.
It's so good. My next underrated is Once Upon a Time in America. Okay, now, not going to do what a lot of people do, and a lot of my family members have done this when we're discussing it. We were talking about it over Christmas, because I'd watched it again over Christmas, and my uncle was like, Once Upon a Time in America is as good as The Godfather. And you know what? I'm not going to knock that. Personally, do I feel like it falls short ever so slightly compared to The Godfather? Maybe. Okay. It's very, very similar in terms of not the fact that it's a gangster film, but it's very, very different. Like, very different. It stands on its own entirely. Sergio Leone, it is basically it's an epic tale about a man who, played by Robert De Niro, his character Noodles, is basically returning. It's kind of it covers like multiple years, and it kind of goes back and forth, and it explores his life in New York City growing up and becoming a gangster with him and his friends, and the trials and tribulations that they face individually, the love that they experience, the hardship, and the destruction of certain facets of their lives and friendships, and the dangers that they face. And it's like, that is kind of in a nutshell what it's about. It's nearly 4 hours, I think.
Really?
It's 4 hours. It is a lengthy watch. Okay. It's a lengthy watch. Obviously set in New York. Oh, the cinematography is beautiful. The color of it, the richness of it, the setting is so incredible. It looks amazing. New York's almost like a second character in it. There's an incredible shot where there are kids and they're running across the street, and you've got like the Brooklyn Bridge in the back, and it is just like, it's so, so, so beautiful to just behold. I think that the performances are incredible. The story's so rich. It's not too difficult to understand, and there's so many twists and turns in it, and the ending is very much left up to interpretation, and it's one that gets you thinking. And I think that the film itself in its entirety is incredible. It's overall really underrated, I think. I think it's one of them films that over time has really kind of become more on people's radars, hence why I watched it when I was quite young, and then like when I was like 13 or something, my granddad had it on, and then I rewatched it again recently, and I just having rewatched it, I was reminded of how incredible it is. It's like, all the performances are great, the character dynamics and the dynamic between this friendship group and this group of gangsters is great. And I can't remember the actress's name, but she plays the mum in Downton Abbey. She is the woman that Robert De Niro's character is in love with, and the way in which he behaves towards her is so weird and baffling, and just like that kind of dynamic is like really fraught and sad, and it's a really dark, like musky, sort of just dismal, quite violent film. Okay. But it's embellished with so many incredible facets of it. You would love it purely for the score. It is one of the best, if not the best, scores of a film I've ever seen. That is what sells it for me. I love it so much. It's Ennio Morricone, who did like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He did The Hateful Eight. Yeah. I think he got an Oscar for The Hateful Eight. Maybe I'm wrong, but he is just an incredible composer. I watched a documentary about him a few weeks ago, and it was just incredible. Like, he's so brilliant, and he's such a unique artist, and that score is just incredible. And Andrea Bocelli, who is like an amazing singer, one of my mum's favourites, he has an album called Cinema, and he basically sing, there's Moon River on it, and they've also written new like lyrics to the melodies of scores. There's a song on there called I Putti Penso, and it's him and Ariana Grande. It's a duet, and it's to the melody of Deborah's theme, or the main theme from Once Upon a Time in America. And it is the most beautiful. The music in it is just second to none. The story's great. I love the twists and turns. I love a gangster flick set in New York. I think it stands on its own as a great film. I think it gets it lives in the shadow of The Godfather, I think, in certain demographics. It's always compared to it in a different facet, because there are evident similarities to it, but when you watch it, it's very, very different. And I think it stands on its own. I think it's really good. I think, you should all watch it. It's good. It's long, but it's worth it.
My next one is Green Book. Have you seen
Green Book? Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, this won Best Picture in 2019. However, I think it's surprisingly under-discussed.
Faded.
I think if someone was to say what won Best Picture in 2019, I think a lot of people would struggle.
Yeah.
It's not like an Oppenheimer. It's not like, it wasn't, it wasn't, I don't think it was
I'm not seeing it since it came out,
to be honest.
I haven't gone back to watch it, to be fair. since it came out?
I have. I think it's a very deeply human story, and I think this is really elevated by the two lead performers. Mahershala Ali won Best Supporting Actor
again after Moonlight.
I just think, again, similar to Coda, it was just a very simple story. Yeah, there was probably a bit more hidden meaning, a few more metaphors. However, I think it balances perfectly humor and the emotional weight with a lot of quiet confidence by the director. I think its themes are allowed to very much resonate naturally. And I just really, really enjoyed this film. I came out of it thinking I felt very warm and fulfilled.
It's a wholesome element to it.
Yeah, I think it very much leaves a lasting sense of reflection and, as I say, like emotional warmth. I think it was another winner where I was really happy to see it win Best Picture. I think it's a very quietly powerful film that's very rooted in connection and empathy and shared humanity between these two leads. And yeah, it was just lovely. It's a good film to watch this time of year because it's kind of set. There's elements of it set at Christmas, but it's not a Christmas film, so it's quite like nice while we're still like in the winter season.
Question: it's one of your faves. Would you class The Holdovers as a Christmas film?
Yeah,
would you?
I'd class The Holdovers. You could watch it in like November, but also in between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah,
you know, one of those. It's very much The Holdovers for me is like a Bridget Jones, where you can watch Bridget Jones's Diary, but it's very much in between Christmas and New Year film. You know, where you're in that limbo where you're kind of like, I want to watch something, but it's been Christmas now, so I don't really want to watch a Christmas film. Holdovers and Bridget Jones is always a good go-to.
I said to my mum the other day, though, there's so many films on in between Christmas and New Year, like on actual television, and I was thinking, why do they put all these on more all the way around?
I know.
That's staying. No one's seen it.
Green Book, it's definitely worth a watch.
It is, I actually might rewatch it. I know.
You should.
Now, this is one that went into the awards circuit, but not necessarily at the Oscars. I think it got more love kind of at the other award ceremonies, but your fave's in it, Revolutionary Road.
That is my honourable mention.
Oh, no way. Wow, great minds think alike.
I love Revolutionary Road.
I think it's a great film.
It is.
I think that, I'm no wonder Kate ones that pushed to get it made. She really fought for it. And I think
her and Sam
Mendes, yeah. He's great. Great film. I love I love how accurately and like, terrifyingly it kind of depicted like a 1950s suburban household and the volatility between these two people. Like, it was really, there's a frightening element to it.
There really is.
And there's almost like a pressure cooker element to it, and this sort of sense of really impending destruction. Yeah, impending doom and destruction. Like what's going to happen? Like, you don't know how it's going to end when you first watch it, but you know it's not going to be great. No. And the way it just like slam dunks the ending, and it doesn't apologize for being harsh, and is really quite, it's distressing to watch it many times, even though it's quite a quiet film in certain aspects, and other times it's really kind of loud and volatile. I think it's really underrated, and I think, judging, if you go off them fight scenes alone, such an incredible two-hander. Michael Shannon's character he's just, I mean, Michael Shannon's amazing in that film. I swear he won Best Supporting for that. He's great in it. And Leonardo DiCaprio, I think it's one of his best performances.
I think it's Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio's best performances.
And also, it's Jack and Rose back together. Hello.
I know.
Like,
and directed by her husband.
On it more.
Insane. Yeah. I think it's a brilliant film. As I say, that's in my honourable mentions.
I love that film, and I think it's a really entertaining watch. It's really gripping. It's very like to the bone when you think of it in terms of the context of the 50s and women's place in society and in the house, and you know, it's there's a lot of the compelling thematic elements to it that are really interesting to engage with. But you've got incredible performances that just hold it up entirely, and it really rides on them. And
he's kept it very simple, hasn't he, Sam Mendes, with that film? Like,
he did.
He's purely like his main aim is literally just to put these actors on show, and he really does that. Like, he doesn't kind of like, the house that they live in is quite bleak. The setting is very bleak. All of the focus is on these two actors. Well, all of the actors,
and then
but especially
what they want,
Leo and Kate, and
and like, everything. Yeah, the
it's
noise
very
around
true to life
them,
story, isn't it?
The flow of it being like a, you know, the massive rows and going back to being, you know, happier, and then having it again, and each time it's worse and worse. And dialogue's really, really good. The dialogue is amazing. Yeah, I think it's really underrated, and I think. It's Jack and Rose. Why are people not on it more?
I know, I don't understand that either. But
come on, guys.
Yeah, such a good film.
Yeah.
My final one is About Time.
Oh my God, yes.
I feel like this is...
I do too.
I think thanks to TikTok nowadays, it has gained a bit more traction. However, like, my family members and my like Friends.
I love that film.
It's such a good film.
So good. One of the best rom-coms I think of the last 10 years. It's like 10, 15 years old, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love it.
No, literally. I think
good pick, Elle.
I frequently recommend this to people, and they are always kind of like, oh, I've never heard of that one. And I'm like, I'm surprised.
Love it.
I always kind of go into this being like, oh, you've probably seen it, but About Time's a good film. And they're like, oh, no, never seen it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's Margot Robbie pre-Wolf of Wall Street as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I think brilliant cast. I think each rewatch really reframes itself in depending on what stage of life you're at. Like, I must have watched this film maybe like 4 times.
Yeah. It's an easy watch as well.
Yeah, it is an easy watch. I feel like it's a nice little gentle invitation to fall back in love with life.
I know. Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's such a good way to put it.
It is, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It's such a
fall in love with life
alters your
film.
perspective. I think it's one of them films that, even though it's very gentle and it's not entirely, there's a prescriptive element to it, but it's just such a gentle reminder of how we can and should be.
Exactly. Like I just think it's both very heartbreaking but beautiful, and often a lot of the times within the same moment. I think it probably is a little bit science fiction-y.
No, but
in a very unique and subtle way. And I think it's not shoved down your throat. There's no like aliens or buttons that they need to press to be like, to go back in time. Yeah, literally. And I just think that's so, again, so original, so unique. Like, when have we ever seen that before? But it does. Like, if I was to tell you the actual plot before you watching it, people would probably be like, oh, yeah, like he goes into a cupboard and goes back in time so he can change different moments of his life. But it's done in such a lovely way, and I think the setting makes it all the more like that gorgeous house.
Reminds you to not have regrets as well.
Yeah, exactly. It really
don't go back in the end.
Because the scene between Donald Gleeson and Bill Nighy never fails to land emotionally. Let's be real. Like whenever that comes on, I'm always like, ooh. But I just think it's very easy and a very comforting watch, and I don't think it demands much from the viewer, does it? Really? Like you can but it gives so much, And I just think, it's a very meaningful film. Like if you want a film that really makes you think and really makes you come out of it feeling a bit life changed, then I think this is definitely one of them.
Along that vein, this is another underrated one for me as well, and I have watched it recently this year, and I do think it's amazing. Moonstruck. That's underrated for me.
That's really
underrated. Good. I'm not mad on Nicolas Cage. I've never really been like a big fan of his. Nicolas Cage and Cher shouldn't work, but it does. And it's like, but some of the films he's done just really haven't registered with me. That one does though. I love it. It's like Little Italy, the quaintness of it, the heart and humility of it, the heartbreak of it, the way it's just set in these little like pockets of, it's the restaurant or the house or like her apartment. I just like how it feels almost like a bit of a couple of plays are all put together and like the idyllic essence of it. I just think it's really, really sweet and wholesome. Do you know what? I've got one more. Lilo and Stitch.
Fair.
I think that kid behaves like a genuine child. The animation's really good in it. I think it's really like colourful and bright and fun. And the fact that they love Elvis in it. I know Elvis performed in Hawaii a fair bit, but like it reminds me. And to be fair, I did watch it last night. So I actually put it on last minute. It reminded me to embrace the weirdness of life and the weirdness of ourselves. And if you do that, then you're probably going to be a bit happier, I imagine. Yeah, like I just think it's really funny, and it is really funny. I just think, great. It's sharp. It's quite witty, unfiltered. The kids really jokes. Like, I like the dynamic between her and the sister. I like Lilo and Stitch.
Also, I do want to mention Tyrannosaur.
Have you seen it? No.
It's Paddy Considine. Paddy Considine. He directed it. Olivia Colman. One of Olivia Colman's, if not the best performance that she's ever done.
Is that?
It's set around domestic abuse.
Okay.
So it's hard hitting, it's deep, but I just think everyone needs to watch that purely for the outstanding performance by Olivia Colman in it. She is insane.
She's in one of mine as well.
Oh, really?
The Father.
Oh, yes.
The Father's really, really.
Love The Father.
I think sometimes and Steel Magnolias as well, because I was going to say, like, films that are plays, sometimes they don't, perhaps, because they haven't got as many sort of, like, evidently obvious cinematic elements to grapple with. They're not bigger in terms of scale, but they're really rich in terms of, like, plot and, like, characters, I always find, and that's why I gravitate to a lot of films that have been plays before. The Father, so emotional. Anthony Hopkins, unreal. I just think it was so naturalistic. It was so to the bone, even though it's, like, he's from like a very like sort of stable socioeconomic like middle class like background, and as is the family. I feel like that really is not a considered facet of it. It purely just rides on the emotionality of it and the tension built up and the performances, and it's so heartbreaking. And then that one, and there's a film, my final one, this is my final honourable mention, Nowhere Special. James Norton plays a dad
with the little boy.
Yeah, with the little boy who is has the terminal cancer diagnosis, and he's trying to find.
Was that released on like BBC? Was that a BBC film or
maybe
something?
It was.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't. It wasn't like a huge.
I watched it on Prime, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was
maybe
released
it was that.
via Prime, but I don't know.
know.
I remember just like reading about it, thinking, "Oh, I'll give that a watch." And it is such an emotional watch. It's so tiny budget, you can tell, but the kid in it is such a good actor. James Norton's really good in it, and it's him trying to find a new home, a new mum and family for his son, because he's not going to be there to be his parent anymore. His partner left when the child was a baby, and that premise in itself is like, when you start in there, you feel like you've got really something really good to kind of follow through with, and it's really emotional and it's really heartfelt, and it just exemplifies the sacrifice of parents so well, so heartbreaking. Really, I think it's
so now
segment 2.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of our underrated performances / actors. My first one is Carey Mulligan.
She's one of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've been a fan of Carey Mulligan for ages. When I first started to get into like films and into just acting in general, Carey Mulligan was kind of one of the first actors that I probably really took a shine to. I first saw her in an Education. I think I did. I think what it was, I did a monologue from an Education at like an acting class.
Did
once,
you?
And it made, obviously I watched the film because I was doing the monologue, and then from there I was like, this girl's good.
She's so good.
So
underrated.
I feel like from that she kind of got. I mean, her early career was dominated by period pieces, wasn't it? Like Far From the Madding Crowd, Pride and Prejudice as well. She was with Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, she did sort of stick to that demographic, which kind of can maybe explain why she's been less on the radar more widely.
Maybe,
perhaps.
yeah. But then obviously, then her later work really marked a clear shift for me, like towards darker things. So I saw her in Wildlife.
I've seen that.
Have you not seen that? It's with Jake Gyllenhaal. She was also in Shame and Drive, obviously.
Yeah.
She was fab in those. And then more recently, where I was just absolutely flabbergasted by a performance, was Promising Young Woman. I felt like that was very much a culmination of that evolution. I think she was very fearless and commanding in that film. But yeah, I just think she was obviously nominated for Best Actress and she lost it to Frances McDormand. But I do believe if Frances McDormand wasn't in that race, she would have won.
Yeah, it's a great film.
To be honest, I would have really liked to have seen her win that year. It was the year when the Oscars were held in that really small room because of COVID.
Because I remember watching it. When she won Best Screenplay.
And then Frances McDormand won and she howled on stage. She howled on stage. But I just think she's very remarkably consistent. I think if she's attached to a project, she's always going to deliver. Have you ever seen her in a TV series called Collateral? It's on Netflix. No. She was really good in that. That's like a TV series, a bit different. There's a few famous faces in there. I think she's always very thoughtful and very articulate off screen as well. She's very much like Kate Winslet for me, in the sense that when she's promoting films, I'll always watch all of her press that she does, because I could listen to her for hours and hours and hours.
She's eloquent, yeah.
She's very eloquent. She's got a very clear understanding of her craft, and she's, as I say, she's very much like Kate Winslet in that sense. Either. No, exactly. Yeah. So Carey Mulligan, I just think she is absolutely fab.
I thought she would honestly have gotten, and maybe I'm like, this is just me, but I watched Suffragette thinking she should have had an Oscar.
Yeah. She was fabulous in Suffragette. I love that film
as well.
Yeah, Suffragette is a fab film.
I think it's a great film.
Again, all the press for that. I thought she was so well versed in what she was doing her film about. Like, she'd clearly done so much research because she really wanted to get it right. And I just thought all of the press for that. I learned so much. I learned so much about just the whole suffragette movement as a whole. Just
how much they faced, and what she was, like the way she like talked about it and how much research she did. Like, she's really, really good. An actor for me that I think, and I'm going off one film, all right, because he's not in that many, and I've not seen him in that many, but I'm gonna say it because I think he's so underrated. Burgess Meredith as Mickey in Rocky 1 and 2 specifically. He dies in the third one. If you've not seen it, spoiler.
Sorry guys.
Even in that one, I'm like, Rocky is indeed one of my Letterboxd top 4. I love it. But the first one's my Letterboxd top 4, but the second one I think is when he really shines in that role. The dialogue is so like well suited to him. I think you can tell it's written for him. He's so like, it reminds me, he's so fraught and like disheveled and like a bit just sort of like, he just looks unclean, but he's just the snarliness and the arrogance and the bombastic essence of that character. He just plays so well. He's really intimidating at times, even though it literally is probably about 4 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And the way he's also really gentle in other points as well. When Adrian has been taken sick in hospital and Rocky is praying in the chapel and he goes and visits him, and the way he talks to him, and Sylvester Stallone is so good at writing those kind of like those little gems of monologues and not even speeches, but the way in which one character can shed a whole new perspective onto something for the sake of another and give them advice. And I think that particular scene, Burgess Meredith just knocks it out of the park. I think he's so underrated in that film. I don't know if he got nominated for support. I think he might have got nominated for supporting actor for the first one. I know that one gained a lot of like awards buzz. Like, and I think I didn't know whether it won original screenplay, but won Best Picture. I think Burgess Meredith's a great actor, and that role is just like, you know, I'm going off that role specifically, but it's just like, yeah, he's one of my faves.
I only have one actor in this list. It's Paul Giamatti. Definitely most notably in The Holdovers more recently, where he delivers one of the most effective performances I've ever seen. I think in almost any other year where he wasn't against Cillian Murphy, I would have really liked to have seen him win the Oscar. I think that would have been inevitable because I just think he was so I think his performance in The Holdovers, he's just the emotional backbone of the film, grounding it with such warmth and humanity. And I think the comedy is notoriously difficult to play well, and I think he absolutely smashed it out the park with such restraint and precision as well. I think the humor is so understated. It's not shoved down your throat. It's just the odd line here and there, and the dynamic between him and Angus Woolley, which is obviously Dominic Sessa in the film. I think it makes it feel so much more authentic because this humor is just subtly done, like it is done in every day in the life, just in general. But I just think
Cold Souls.
No, I haven't.
So he's in that, and to be fair, I've not seen it either, but I keep seeing it. It's on my watch list on Amazon, and he's on the cover of it, and it looks awfully melancholic.
He just brings such complexity and vulnerability to his characters that he plays, and I feel like a lot of the roles he does could easily feel one note, but I think he's got such a talent, and I just don't think he's not decorated enough. Not that awards merit is the be all and end all, but I feel like he does slip under the radar, and I'm really glad that he had a role in the Holdovers, and the Holdovers gained such traction, because I do think it was definitely deserved.
I've got like an honourable mention because he's like kind of overrated but kind of not, but the one that I'm gonna go with as my actual option is James Caan. If you're thinking about it in the context of The Godfather, he as Sonny is dynamite. I think he's incredible. Obviously, like everyone in that film is great. Like there's not a bad performance, I don't think anyway. No. But I watched it the other night again actually, and I was thinking, God, like he's so good. Like the way his dynamic with Talia Shire's character with the sister, I think he's so immensely bombastic and like rugged and intimidating and gross and mean, and he just really embodies that sort of like Italian American male figure, kind of protective sort of being very well, but balancing it with kind of the sort of like the brash sort of cruelty of a man who is kind of semi at the helm of an organized crime family is like nuts. But I just think the way he plays it is really, really cool. I love him in Misery. I know he kind of just sits in a bed and like gets his feet broken, but he's still really good in it. And do you know what? I really liked him in Elf. There we go. I think he's really good in it. I think he's really... Every time I watch that, I'm always kind of nervous to kind of see him come on screen because I just know how mean he's going to be. And he's so like, convincing and so compelling. And I think that's kind of contrasted in the goofiness of Will Ferrell. But maybe it enhances how cruel he actually is. But he's really, really good in it. And I do think he could have been in more of the years, and I do think he would have had a few more chops. He's oh my god, fucking hell, he's died.
That's why I thought you were talking in the past tense.
Yeah, but I was thinking like, I know, oh god, I'm thinking like, that's funny, that R.I.P. James. Oh my god, no.
He's a good pick. Yep.
Go on then.
Sarah Lancashire. Can't go wrong. Happy Valley obviously stands out as the most powerful, one of the most powerful TV
best
performances
ever made. Facts.
I do think she did get a couple of BAFTA wins for this, the lead actress, but I feel like that's very inadequate compared to her depth of work. I think her transformation into Catherine Kaywood as that police officer is so, it feels like unsettling, because if you look at
So
her,
accurate.
I mean, I know this is her job, but like it is so like literally from one extreme to another. Like that is what she did to play this part.
Yeah.
I was actually an extra on Happy Valley, and to see in the final series and to see her like do like just the relentless amount of takes, like, and just to watch her work, so interesting. I think she plays it with such emotional grit and authenticity. Every choice feels so lived in with her. It just comes so naturally, and
she knows that character inside out.
She's very grounded, and it's very deeply human. How Catherine K. Wood is not a real person, like, genuinely baffles me.
I know.
I just think she deserves.
Literally.
No, exactly. I just think she deserves such wider recognition, and I feel like Happy Valley hasn't cracked America. And it needs to. I would really, really like to see her have the career that Olivia Colman's taken, where Olivia Colman obviously was cast in The Favourite, and that just absolutely catapulted her. Sarah Lancashire, I think, could do that 10 times over as well. She's very underrated.
You know who I didn't actually think to put on my list, and now I am thinking needs to be on it.
Saran Jones.
Knew you were going to say
Saran Jones. Yeah.
Dr. Foster, one of the most incredible performances on television.
I've rewatched Dr. Foster, I'm not kidding, about 5 times. She's amazing
incredible in that. And I feel I do feel like she's amazing in anything that she's in, and I will watch her in anything. But I feel like she hasn't had the chance to kind of branch into kind of feature-length dramas and like films in the way that perhaps Olivia Colman has, for example. So I'd love to see Saran Jones really get into that realm, just purely so she could be known a bit more widely, perhaps, because she's incredible.
I've met Saran Jones, fun fact.
Oh my god, stop. Was she
not
nice?
Know that?
No.
Yeah, she was lovely.
Ella literally bumps into famous people.
No, I didn't bump into her.
She started out in Corrie, but they all started out in Corrie. So did Sarah
Lancashire. Exactly.
Oh, another one who started out in Corrie who's amazing. And if I remember, I really used to like the show Mr. Selfridge.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine Kelly.
Yeah.
She's a great actress.
She is.
Some really good actresses that have come out of that show.
On the topic of Dr. Foster,
go on.
Another one is Jodie Comer.
Yes, fully.
Mark my words, this girl is going to win an Oscar.
Yes, she will. She's going to be one of them people that might not win one for 20 years, but it'll come and it'll be like, of course she's going to have to win for that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I first saw her in My Mad Fat Diary. I'm also 13, which is a BBC series. Yeah. And then obviously she was in Dr. Foster, and then obviously came the inevitable Killing Eve, of course. I think she actually shows such a versatility. She can completely command the screen.
Yeah.
I was just absolutely obsessed. You've been to see
Prima Facie, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Have you?
Insane.
I need to actually watch it.
But to be honest, one of her strongest performances for me on TV and on screen is in The Last Duel. Not a very good film.
Yes.
But
no, the film weren't mega.
The film, all right.
It was, do you know what it was? It was Matt Damon's accent ruined it for me. Sorry, Matt.
It wasn't an absolute...
Sorry, Matt.
She absolutely carried the weight
she
of
carried
that film
it
on her back.
Yeah, Adam Driver close second.
I would have really, really, really have liked to see her enter award season somehow with that film. I feel like it was on the cusp.
Because I feel like
when it was before it was released, and then it got released.
Because I feel like with the film as a whole has to make or break it. Like if the film really is just not really geared towards that, if it's not getting the reception that it needs really to get into the award circuit, no one else, even no matter how good the performance is, no one else can really get a look in either.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, you can't just have Jodie Comer nominated. Well, you can, but like they wouldn't have Jodie Comer nominated.
She could be an Andrea Riseborough, like in To Leslie.
Oh yeah,
she got randomly nominated. She brings such depth and vulnerability to every single role that she does. She really elevates the material that she gets given, regardless of the project. Again, she's one that consistently delivers at such an award-winning level. Like I think you could genuinely take any performance that she's done. Yeah. In the more recent years especially, and compare it to Oscar nominated actresses, and she would probably most likely pit them to the post. I just think she's got such star quality. She will win an Oscar. She will win an Oscar. She's been quiet over the past few years, but she's going back on tour with Prima Facie, and she's got the death of Robin Hood coming out with Hugh Jackman. She's got the Disturbance of Madeline Hyde. That's another one that's coming out. Kenneth Branagh. So again, that could be one. That could be one that takes her to the Oscars. But
don't laugh at me. And it's one specific. Actually, no. Do you know what? It's because I watched The Holiday over Christmas, and then I watched. There's another film that I do watch as well.
Okay,
Jack Black.
Oh,
not Jude Law. No, Jude Law, probably is a bit underrated, actually. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, I was going to put him on this list.
I just think Jack Black gives a lot of energy to his films. He has that, I think he has it infused into his own nature anyway. So maybe there's not a lot of shape-shifting, and he doesn't do these big sort of like big old transformations. But my words, if you are not literally crying and laughing at the end of School of Rock, I just think he is crazy in it.
Yeah,
I think he gives so much to it. His timing is impeccable. He commands the screen in the way that not many other comedic actors actually can, I think. And School of Rock is one of my favourite films.
Yeah.
Like, it is one of my favourite films. It brings me immense joy every time I stick it on. I actually feel like in terms of comedy performances, I think we all always give props to Jim Carrey because his physicality and the way he, like, you know, embodies his roles and, you know, everything that he brings to it is so evident. Whereas I feel like he does it in a different capacity but with the same amount of energy. And I think because he's like a comedic actor, he kind of like gets a bit like shoved to the sidelines a bit, and sometimes comedy is harder than drama. Sometimes it's like it's all about timing, and it's all about, you know, a joke needs to land at the right time. You need to be, you know, you need to give a certain, you know, that certain essence and that comedic heightened sense of hilarity at the right time and in the right way. And he really just like he balances it all really well. And I think School of Rock is a really good example of that.
He is real.
There you go. They're
my final one is Toni Collette.
Okay.
She possesses such an extraordinary range across genres and tones. I think About a Boy is probably one of the first things I saw her in, and she has such naturalism in that film. Hereditary, I think, was a very career-defining performance.
What I'm thinking of.
Which was definitely overlooked at the Oscars.
Yeah. Hereditary, I am like...
Hereditary, I'm literally like, what the hell? Such depth, emotional intelligence to every single role. She has an unmatched ability to just completely disappear into her characters.
Yeah.
Like, she's one of the actors that I kind of watch on screen and I forget, because I'm so well versed on actors, I do forget that I am watching Toni Collette. And she has one of those faces that I feel like would be quite hard to kind of not see, but almost I don't see. Like, she was in Goodbye June. You forget it's her. She plays this kind of like yoga loving spiritual queen, and she just does that so well. And like, she's funny in that. I also saw her in a Netflix series recently called Wayward, where she plays this like really awful camp cult leader. I just think she really delivers like masterclass level work. And the fact that she's only been nominated for an Oscar once, and that was for Sixth Sense.
6 cents? Bugger off.
I just think she's been in such, like, I think the Academy are definitely scared to decorate horror films. I do think Hereditary was criminally overlooked. I hope
that Sinners changes that.
Yeah.
I do too.
Hopefully. But I just think she is so severely under-recognised, yet she's been in the industry for decades. Like Little Miss Sunshine. That's another one where she's played, like, I just think, she's highly, highly underrated. And whenever I see her in anything, it just reminds me of that.
I don't know why, but you reminded me of Alan Arkin. He's pretty underrated. Yeah. He's underrated. And another one I would say, an honourable mention that, like, I know. This one is not dead that I'm about to mention. Donald Gleeson. I think he's underrated.
He is.
Yeah, I think he's really underrated.
His range is insane as well.
I know. I do. I really like him.
There are so many, and I just think when you compare them to maybe some of the ones not mentioning any names who have been decorated with countless awards or are nominated quite a lot, I just think, or for like certain performances that just really...
Do you know who I think, actually, if we were doing this before Oppenheimer, I would have put Emily Blunt down straight away.
I would have put Jessie Buckley down, but I do think she is about to win an Oscar. Yeah. So I do think, because Jessie Buckley, again, been a fan of her for years, like her in Wild Rose. If you haven't seen Wild Rose, go and watch Wild Rose, because that's a brilliant performance that she's done in that. And she's a theatre actress as well. I think theatre's such a hard thing for screen actors to do, and she did start in the theatre, Jessie Buckley, but in Cabaret, I saw her in Cabaret and I was front row. I've literally seen the girl's feet, and she was insane. Seen the girl's feet. She was insane.
Ella can die a happy woman. She's made it.
Well, I died a happy woman. I could have died a happy woman that night when Eddie Redmayne kissed my hand.
Oh my God, no, yeah.
He's another one. He's a brilliant actor, but he has won an Oscar.
I know.
He's known. So
and he's known.
I feel like, Emily Blunt and Jessie Buckley.
Yeah, would have really
back
been.
in the day would have
Girl
been.
on the Train. I thought she was great.
Girl on the Train. Fabulous.
She's really good in that.
And then you look at her in like Mary Poppins, like great.
I know, she's so good in that.
Into the Woods,
she's
like
so
go girl.
sleek and just like Into the Woods.
We got Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada. So, honestly, and she's even really good in that as well.
Disclosure Day, I'm excited to see. She's in that. Steven
that
Spielberg film.
Oh,
UFO.
nice.
Josh O'Connor.
She's also producing. I
Houston.
don't know if she's producing, but she's going to be in Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
directing it, that Hawaiian gangster film with the
I'm
Rock.
excited to see that.
If he's directing that, The Rock in it, that's going to be such an interesting,
It will be interesting.
mirage of vibes.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
We hope you enjoyed. Let us know some of your overrated and underrated performances.
Comment down below.
Bye.